Good evening, everybody, and welcome to, I'm going to say it this way, Crossing Realms Together with Laura Van Tyne from the Karmic Path and me, the Reverend Rob Lee, the Bangarang guy from Tarot with an Attitude. Wow, Bangarang, got to say it. Well, hello, Miss Laura. How are you this week?
I'm great, sir. How are you doing?
I am good. We'll see how many. I tried to let everybody know I messed up with saying it was on Friday, and but tried to get the word out that it was all going to be tonight. So we'll see who shows up or whatnot. But as always, you and I will have a good time. You know, even that, if you think about the way you and I just started, okay, we started with talking about protection, gratitude, and we wound up on an outhouse.
I know, right?
Welcome to our world, okay? Tootie Smith, Oregon. Hi, you two. Hi, Tootie. Glad to see you. That's from up in your neck of the woods. And there's Miss Donna.
It is in my neck of the woods, yeah.
Yeah, and Miss Donna. Hello, Rob, Laura, Gillian, and the whole Bangarang family. Yeah, people are starting to come in and starting to fill up, some things like that. So y'all come on in, put in. Thank you about putting in that you're from Oregon. We always like to know where people are coming from, things like that. Mm-hmm. So thank you. You know, folks, one of the things we're going to do tonight is we're going to open tonight with a special prayer just for some protection or whatnot. I've been through a lot lately. I've got Miss Laura here to have, she got my back, okay? But my wife's like, if y'all go, we don't ever plan to go any place crazy, but it's us, you know? So we could wind up with a whole, you know, platoon of World War II soldiers. Who knows?
You never know. I mean, we were just talking about outhouses after all.
Exactly. So here we go. Our most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, that divine feminine energy that comes from God. We thank you and appreciate you. Yes, tonight we're going to be talking about some different things, and we don't know where this is going to go. We're open for if we want to answer questions, but we want everything to come from you, not from me and not from Miss Laura. We want to give your message through, but most of all, I'm asking you and telling my angels to wrap your wings around both of us, keep everybody protected, keep us safe as we move through this show. So mote it be. Bangarang. All right. Oh, people coming in. Hi, all. There's Miss Gillian coming in. Texas here.
DW.
Got the show. What's that?
And DW's here.
Yes, DW. Deborah. Hi, Deborah. How are you?
And Crystal, another Oregonian. And Crystal, like, we got to catch up soon. It's been a little bit.
Maybe we need to put together a special Oregon show or something. A lot of people.
That'd be fun. It's a good place.
You know, Oregonians, so happy to catch you live. Yes, we're having a good time. So, you know, when we were talking, Miss Laura, you said you had some questions for me on something.
I got questions. I'm going to start it with a story. Okay. So I have this a lot. And I get clients who find that they've inadvertently gotten themselves into some trouble.
Okay.
They're dealing with entities and stuff. And so this is one of the common causes of how one of my clients may get themselves into trouble. And that is with cards. Excuse me. I've been talking all day. And it's with cards. So I'm going to just tell you two stories. And my question becomes, how do you know where the information is coming from? And then how do you clear your cards and stuff like that? Because I think this is really helpful information for people.
Okay.
So I had a number of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, a client who health was horrible. Everything is falling apart, brink of a divorce, all this good, not so good stuff. And I said, okay, we got to stop the leak. Okay, there's something going on. And she had about 100 decks of cards with her. And I'm like, look, we need to do an experiment, and you either need to wrap them in salt and foil, shiny side in, or you need to get rid of them. She didn't want to get rid of them because she was very attached to them. So she wrapped them, she put them in a box, and she put the box around with aluminum foil. And so aluminum foil, the shiny side can create a mirror effect, which is a portal effect. So when you wrap something around it, it becomes encased. Okay. And the energy can't get out of it. It's crazy. And then her husband, about a few weeks later, found the box and was like, what is this? Kind of opened it up. And she said the whole garage started to smell of decomposition instantaneously. Okay. So there's something going on with that. And she was, I'm going to say she was a dabbler.
Okay.
You're not a dabbler. Okay.
No.
You've got a strong God connection to you. I know that. So I know that's a difference. And then I've had another client who just became addicted to buying cards to the point where she's in the poorhouse. So
it could get, we've got hundreds of decks between my wife and I.
So here's my question, because I don't use cards, and that's fine. I get my information from other ways, and that's fine. Right. No two people are the same. So how is it that you can keep yourself clean and clear when other people tend to have issues? And it's not a judgment call, but it's more of like, how can we help?
Anytime, we open up a communication, one of the things we have to do, just like I started the show, I am not afraid. And most people that have had a reading with me, I will start a reading and I will ask them if they care if I say a prayer. Number one, to make sure, like you heard me say, that any messages that come through are from them and not from me. Okay. So they're either from spirit or they're just opening up my higher conscience to be able to clearly see what's going on, the messages there from my guides, from spirit, or whatnot. We all have intuition. We all have all these gifts, everything we can do. Just some people refine it. Now, one of the things, like my wife and I were called to a house years ago, okay, to do a cleansing on it. Like something was going, it was some wild energy in the house, okay? And it was like we chased, and it was only like a 2-bedroom apartment. This wasn't any like 4,000 square foot whatnot, but it's like we could not get rid of this energy. And finally, I'm like, this is locked in the back, and everything kept running back to the bedroom, the bathroom. We found things, and then lo and behold, while I'm talking to her, you ever watch the show Bull, or one of these legal shows that were like, you might should have told me that up front when I asked you. And just like you said, found out she was dabbling. Okay. Well, a lot of people don't want to, what is dabbling? There's no such thing as dabbling. You're either in it or you're out of it. Okay. So we're doing this with her. And finally, she fesses up that at one point she was a Wiccan. I don't have a problem with Wiccan, okay? Not at all, all right? But she started creating her own spell book that kind of deviated from Wicca, all right? So she started her own, well, it was just easier for me to do it this way. That's when you have to be careful and bathe yourself in prayer, bathe yourself in protective light, demand the angels come in around you. I'm getting goosebumps, because one of the things we found out was all of her Wiccan stuff was stored underneath her bed. And her husband's getting these wild dreams, everything else. It's just crazy. And it's like, okay, time to get that. And she was so attached to it, like this lady with her cards.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, hey, that stuff's got to go, because there's stuff, I don't care what anybody says, she's so attached to this stuff, it needs to go to a storage shed if she won't get rid of it. And you need to start working on this and that thing. Once we acknowledged it, we were able to get things quieted down. But once we told them to start getting rid of stuff and different paintings she had made or whatnot, we were finding demonic things, dark energy things hidden within the painting that she didn't even know she had put in there. All right. Folks, tarot cards, one of the first things I tell people is, I've got this one deck. I'm really attached to it. Y'all see me use my Here, I'll bring it up. My Lost Tarot deck all the time. Okay. It's one of my favorite decks. I do have a connection. All right. But my wife will tell you if I dropped this deck in a pond tomorrow, I will be like, damn, that sucks. Okay. So I either have to buy a new deck or go move on. All right. And again, this becomes so all encompassing on, that question. So am I doing okay so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All
by
right.
the way, it's just me on the screen now.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you.
There we go.
Ta-da. All right. Now then, these are cardboard. They're porous. So just like if you buy something at a yard sale, I don't care if it's a coffee mug. I don't care. You should be cleansing that before you bring it into your house.
Yeah.
And by cleansing, literally say a prayer over it. I keep in the drawer right here a bottle of spray, sage, smoking sage, things like that, or whatnot. And again, we find out people, I sage the house. Okay, well, there's an order and there's a way this is supposed to be done. Oh, I burned lavender. Lavender is an attractant to everything, light and dark. They love it. Okay, so this is one of those things where, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, whenever my wife and I open a new deck, I will go through it. We will look at it or whatnot. But at some point, we hold the deck up. We say a prayer. Okay. We'll spray it with sage, run it through incense, or do whatever. And then we always ask that the deck be used for the purpose of light and only light. Okay. So that's a very fast answer.
And I know it's complicated because, and I get people all the time that get tripped up, and when you have to flip a card to get an answer, you got to figure out where your answer is coming from, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And what you mentioned with that person who had spells and was doing other things, that becomes the slippery slope where she was probably being slowly infiltrated by the dark side.
And it happens. It happens.
It does.
Where, because at some point, and here's one of the first things. Well, I don't know if I should have roast beef or ham for Thanksgiving. Let me grab my cards. Once you start, and people do, if you can't think without your cards, anything to excess is bad.
Right.
All right. It's not good for you. All right. Because the whole idea is that I want to be opening up and hear what my guides, angels, and connect to that energy that we have. All right. So I can get messages clearly, but I know where my messages are coming from. If you don't know, you didn't even start out right. Okay. If you don't know why I love a deck. But the minute somebody says, I'm never getting rid of a deck or whatnot,
it's an addiction, right? It's like a video game addiction, alcohol addiction.
Oh, let me tell you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decks on my desk. Okay. But here's the difference. I think you've seen me. I will lay 3 or 4 decks out, say my prayer, and ask spirit which deck they want me to use. And I'll feel because the artwork is so different.
Okay. Right? So here's a thought.
Sure.
When I work on, and I would love to address what Crystal's saying here in just a moment. I think that's beautiful. Okay. Beautiful question. Randomness. When I'm working with somebody, removing these dark energies, heavy energies, dark entities, I'm always random. And sometimes if I know this person is heavily contaminated, I might just say, hey, I can't make it at this day and time. Let's do it now. Because it's harder for the dark side to pivot when we're random. So when you're showing different decks and which one to pick, you're being random about it.
Correct. Because I am saying, and that way too, when I get a when I get a feeling to pull from a deck, the artwork is always different. I wish I'd known, I would have prepared something. But like, if we take a quick look here, and I'll go here, this is Archangel Michael tarot deck. I'll move things over here. And if you'll notice, it's Raphael, Ariel, Gabriel. There's no pentacles. There's no anything else that is normally cups or anything like that is associated with the deck. There's Raphael, so the artwork is completely different. The sayings are completely different. And one of the things is to look at, people always ask me, what's the hardest thing about reading tarot? And one of the first things is throwing away the book. But you should look at the book and read what was the writer's intent of how those cards are to be used. I have some cards with some great art, but they were brought up for shadow work. And the author and illustrator say that in the book. Well, you know what? I do shadow work. You and I both do shadow work, okay? But it's different, and that can be a slippery slope. So I don't often put those on the air because it's just not something I want to do.
And that's fair, because that creates problems.
Yeah.
It brings in the dark forces, basically, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
No, and that's, I don't want to, I started to click on down, but I don't want to pass up Crystal's question, because this is a good question.
This is a good question for everybody. So at times when I'm out in public running errands or doing whatever, she gets an overwhelming sense of darkness, and it kind of sends her into a panic attack. Doing clearings is great. Learning how to add to your spiritual tool belt can really help, because if you're using the same tools over and over and over, the dark side says, oh yeah, they do this, this, and this. We got the plan. Okay. That's one thing. But the other thing is when you feel that, you can say, first of all, this is not mine. I do not consent, and return to sender.
Correct.
Returning to sender is so helpful so much of the time. And it could be that you may be picking up other people's anxieties, other people's junk.
Yes.
And so it's hard to discern if it's like, the person checking out their groceries in front of me is having a really bad day, or if the cashier is, or if this whole energy is just, there's a hauntedness about the energy. So that's kind of hard, but bringing yourself to center, grounding yourself, if you can, if you wash your hands with cold water, and if scrub them with salt, that can help break it instantaneously. So can essential oils. Just smelling a citrus essential oil, there's actually studies shown that citrus oils will shift the brain chemistry and get us out of that. So, Crystal, I hope it's a helpful answer. And I get it too.
Add to that too.
Mm-hmm. Please.
A lot of times when somebody has this repetition, I feel too, it's not just a clearing that's needed, but there needs to be a cord cutting. You have an attachment, or something is attached. If you're seeing it happen in the same place at the same time, or different things. And I have different things that I will actually do, and it's just symbolic. Okay. But I will pray to, our most heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Sacred Earth, all created. I need your help. And I've got something that's attached itself to me or to someone else. And I literally use a knife. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry. We don't get crazy with it. Okay?
We were talking about guns earlier, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I got my knuckle busted too.
Yeah, brass knucks. All right. Yeah, y'all don't want to mess with us. Okay. Spirits, we got you. Okay. But one of the things is, I will actually say something has attached itself either to you, to me, and symbolically ask, I need these cords to be cut. I am telling you, cut these cords. Angels, if you see cords, I need them to be severed. And symbolically cut those cords. Use a butter knife. I don't care.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because I got when I work on disconnecting cords, the Aka cords. So they go into our solar plexus. So if
Right.
I do want to grab DW here in a bit too.
Okay.
So when somebody needs their Aka cords cut, and they come from the concept of Akashic records, these are the cords that come back and forth. You and I have Aka cords. We have Aka cords to everybody here. These are just these etheric cords. And I used to see them all the time. Like when I was a kid, I always saw my dad's Aka cords in it was like the silvery blue cord. I didn't know what it was. Right. And then I could see it with my kids too. And I was like, okay. Now I figured out what it is years later. I'll disconnect the Aka cords. Sometimes I'll twist them.
Yes.
And then I'll pull them out, and then I hand them off to an archangel, because whatever's on the other side of those Aka cords is going to receive the energy of an archangel. So if they're sending you love and blessings, bam, they get that back, right?
Yes.
If there's something else, it's going to feel like they got burned and they disconnect and let go. It's an energetic practice. And then I also take, because this is a solar plexus area, how many of us have been stunned by a sudden death or a sudden maybe loss of something, and you just get that nauseated feeling, right?
Right.
What is that? That's the Aka cords being disconnected so fast and hard, they come reeling back at you, and you just want kind of low-key want to vomit.
Yeah, it's like going on one of those rides where you're snapped forward and snapped back.
Yeah, and so hand them off to an archangel. I also will take and strengthen that area again, because these are the chakras. This is a solar plexus. Strengthen that area. You can use frankincense oil. You can use anything that works for you. And if you don't have any on you, you can visualize that going on you too, because our minds are probably one of our most powerful assets. So it's just
absolutely. And again, the only other thing too, I would say, again, from the scientific side, where we have to be careful, is one of the things I would ask you to do is start writing down, what were you doing? What were you thinking about?
Where were you?
Just prior, okay, to this feeling of dread, darkness, or whatnot, because something may be playing with your subconscious, okay? That could be, oh, wait a minute. If I clear this little area up, it's good. They don't have anything to grab. It could be a minute, like the beginning steps of a depression, but then you take an action to relieve yourself from it, okay? But it's not really going away. That's the reason I like that, like Laura's saying, that twisting the cords, cutting the cords, doing whatever. But if I want you to start really looking at, if this happens after you try the cord cutting, you need to start looking at what's the trigger,
pattern, right? What's the patterns?
Right. Yes.
And there's patterns in everything we do, and we can take the time to reflect and meditate on the patterns. It's very freeing and very empowering.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, this is an interesting statement too, by the way.
Yeah. While sleeping one night, I had what felt like an OBE. Okay. For anybody else, that's an out-of-body experience, where a woman dressed in silver white colored clothes. All right. That's like that story I told about my wife. So, was telling me to embrace the light world. No idea what that was. I don't know who she was. Do you want to lead off, or you want me?
I'm always suspicious, but that's my nature. Okay. I'm suspicious, and I ask a million questions. If you ever worked with me, we capture the bad guys, man. We're in for a Q&A like they've never. So, excuse me, silver white colored, these light colors are good indicators, but there's a possibility of an imposter being. And when that happens, when I always look, so when I'm working with somebody, and I always vet my team, and this is a great example here. I'll pour salt on them, frankincense on them, other things on them. I will ask them questions. I will ask them to move. And if they move and they glitch, I know that that's an imposter being, okay?
Absolutely.
So this person, because you're sleeping at night, we tend to travel in our sleep state, I would be inclined to say it was okay, but at the same time, DW, knowing that you're here with us right now, it tells me that, you're already embracing the light world. I could be wrong. So I'm not sure what her point was, unless it was just maybe a validation for you
Right.
in some instance.
And I agree. And now here's the one thing, DW. Okay. I will tell you, true spirit of light, God's messengers, angels, whatever your spirit guides that are sent from light to help you, okay, will not push you. They may nag at you, okay? But also, a lot of times, if they're going to go through this effort to connect with you on a certain level where we're actually presenting ourselves, I'm kind of like Laura. It's one of those things you got to ask a lot of questions because they will not be obscure. Okay. So again, what's their definition of light world? What's yours?
Yeah. And here's the follow-up is that he's saying that he was going through a bad time in life when that happened. So that to me, and by the way, being a very selfish person, DW, we're all here to learn, right? I mean, we all have these moments. But going through a bad time in life when that happened, it was probably a messenger.
That very well could be.
That would make sense because it wakes us up a little bit, right?
Yeah. Nothing tells you, all right, everybody, sorry, this is me. It's the attitude portion. Nothing says you're being a dick like a angel coming down and going, lighten the hell up. And it is. Sometimes we need those. Boom. And that to me is what angel numbers are, different things. There's little things to make us go, snap out of it. One of those things. And yeah. So honestly, DW, all I would tell you to do at this point is, okay, did it feel like a bad thing? Did it leave it kind of obscure? All you have to do then is sit down and start praying, okay, and asking for direction. If you're really looking, they will give you that direction and start writing stuff down. And I think we've talked about that before too.
Yeah, and that was a really good, honestly, DW, a really good example of how the light side can intervene.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I so get it. So I call it, DW, getting hit over the head by the cosmic 2x4. Happens to me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, hey.
Yeah.
I actually got hit over the head by the cosmic 2x4 on Tuesday, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I've been working like crazy and just super busy, and I'm not slowing down. I'm not listening to my team, blah, blah, blah. And working with the client, she has these 2 Arcturians standing here next to her. Big dudes. And my client says, because I have a way for my client to see and sense what's happening, so we're on the same page, okay? And she says, I'm sorry, I'm literally talking way too much. And she says, this is weird, but they have a message for you. I'm like, oh, dear God, right? I'm working for you, but they have a message for me. That's just not cool. So, but the message was this, and because I've been overrun, feeling like, am I working hard enough? Am I enough? And the message was, when you work in the light, when you are a light worker, working for the light, and you have to work in the dark all the time to do your job, it's just hard. And that's how they got
hit here in the throat a couple of times. That's that throat chakra. And I do believe there is something out there that's not liking what we have to say. Okay. Knowledge is power. And I believe we're imparting some knowledge to some people. And they're like, don't screw with my food. Don't screw, So I do believe that's kind of what's going on right now.
All right.
Donna, I have multiple angel card decks. I always say a prayer before pulling cards. So see, you're setting your intention. Okay. By the way, Rob, I just got your book on. Thank you. Awesome. Let me know, okay? Because I was going to use that as Laura and I were just talking about me finally doing a how to read tarot cards course and using that for the outline. And Donnie, you'll be happy to know I've got another one about the major arcana and everything. I'm close to done with it. So that will be available soon. But thank you. And with this, that gets back. Now you're talking about what Jesus actually came to tell us. For those of y'all that believe, don't care. Okay. One of the things Jesus came to show was before his death, we were living in a space we were living in the phase of the law. That's why we got the 10 Commandments, why they had to roll their sin forwards. Most people don't understand what the sacrifices were for, okay? But why they were supposed to do them. Jesus' death at that point was where we started living under the law of grace if you're doing Christianity. Now then, if you look at the 33 years Jesus was on earth, what he was teaching people was get out of the law, and it goes on your intentions. What was your intentions? By all rights, there were people that Jesus loved, befriended, everything that by law were supposed to be stoned to death. Thus, the story, he without sin, let him cast the first stone. Intentions, folks, intentions. And that is huge when it comes to these cards. You need to make sure if you're going to read cards, you're setting the intentions and you are setting your intentions of where your knowledge is coming from. That's,
Wonderful. Thank you. And thanks for humoring me with that, by the way.
No, I appreciate it. I love talking to people about cards because I also hear, that, everybody, I can't do that. Yeah, stone a witch. Again, Exodus, Leviticus. I need everybody to stop quoting me Exodus, Leviticus, because that means if you're working on Sunday, I'm supposed to come kill you too. So it's in the same books of the Bible. So everybody lighten up. Okay. Again, what Jesus said, it's your intentions. If you're reaching out to the dark, if you're only listening to the ghost of Bob Marley for your directions, then guess what? You're flirting. Not that Bob Marley was a bad person, but I'm just trying to make a point, okay, of where are you looking for the answers? So when you cut your cards, you need to be looking at them with the same discernment that you and I harp about all the time, okay? As you would opening the scripture, opening the Torah, opening the Quran, opening the Tao. You have to discern it and understand. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Perfectly said.
You're welcome. I love doing this show. This is the type of show that we love to do. So thank you very much. I agree, Donna. Has anyone used holy water? It's essentially salt water that's blessed.
It did not work for me.
Huh?
It did not work for me way back when.
You can make your own holy water.
Yes, okay? You can. Yeah.
People tend to forget it's just asking God to bless the water, and the person wearing the backward collar is as human as I am.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and again, my wife tells people all the time and reminds me to tell people when you're having your coffee in the morning, okay, your tea or whatnot, set your intentions and focus them into your drink.
I do this but also especially when I'm at a restaurant, because I don't know who prepared my food or what is really truly in my food. And I literally put my hands under the table and just send energy up to clear my food.
Right. There's so many ways in what we consume or whatnot. But that would be, if you're having some of that, folks, one of the things you need to do in the morning is that 20-minute challenge I keep talking about, setting your intentions for the day. talking to your angels, talking to your guides, okay? But literally, you know, one of the things my wife does and Miss Bridget does, people do, we will set water out under these powerful full moons, things like that, to pick up that divine feminine energy, use that to make our tea, water, coffee, whatever. But then as we are having that, we will say, I'm going to have an awesome day today, and deposit your positive affirmation, what you're looking for. I know there's something I need an answer to and I'm not seeing it. Please give me clarity. And then drink it. It's just a cycle. It's one of those things to help. So
that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Free spirit. I keep getting readings of different people. The spirit's telling me I need to mind my own business. Well, I need way more information. I'm sure Laura does too on that, because yes, like I will not read somebody third party. You know, used to be when I first started doing this, you know, and hello, thank you, Free Spirit, for saying hello. You know, when I first started doing this, oh, does he love me? You know, what's his intentions? What her intentions? You know what? That goes, if you've got somebody that will do that reading for you, that would be my first flag for that person as a reader, because their ethics are a little off. Okay. And I'm telling you, so when you say that, mind your own business, what are we talking about? Because that very well could be, that's not yours to know. That's up to them. So I need more information about that statement to be able to help you. What about you, Miss Laura?
I agree. And what you're alluding to is what I would call the confines of spiritual law. I remember remote viewer. Okay. I can see through time, space, and dimension. I do not have permission to remote view your home.
Correct.
Right? I do not have permission to ask spirit about somebody else or something along those lines. So I love this statement from Free Spirit, because this is a really big deal. And maybe the minding your own business is really about, you know, putting your head down and getting the work done or whatever it is. It could be so many things. So, and then also when you're getting readings from people or something, looking for assistance and help, ask the person you're working with, well, how do you clear yourself? Or how do you know what you're doing? Or how, and by the way, if somebody has really poor health and there's something not right there, run. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Run. But that's the key thing. I treat, when I do readings, whether I'm on here or whether I'm doing a private reading, even in a private reading, somebody is paid. I will not remote view or read on somebody else's emotions, feelings, mental state.
No,
I will say, okay, Spirit, let me ask the question this way. What does Barbie need to know about her relationship with this person? And sometimes it comes up, get the hell out, run, leave, whatnot. And then sometimes it'll be like, we're overstepping.
Yeah.
You know? And my thing is, once spirit comes up and says, A, we're overstepping, B, you know, you need to understand and look at the way this relationship goes. Okay. That's telling you to leave it alone anyways.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It is. And that's okay. You got your answer. Leave it alone. Right? That's the answer. Lador just made a comment. When it comes to black magic, spells, and curses, that's a whole nother topic. If you want some help with that, reach out to me at laura@thekarmicpath.com. I do a lot of that work. It's not easy. It's so much easier. There's many types of hauntings. And I know we got to wrap this up in a little bit. You know, there's, you know, the dead who haunt the living, the dead who haunt the dead, the living who haunt the dead. The hardest form of haunting to remove is the living haunting the living through spells, curses, black magic, dark, all this stuff. So what you want to do is you want to disconnect from that spell, curse, voodoo, whatever it is. There's all forms, Santeria, there's There's so many forms of black magic out there. Disconnect and return it to sender. You don't want the gift anymore. It's okay to return to sender. But if you need some help, I've got some techniques and tools that I can assist you with, because
You've got a great course on it. And I
I
think,
do. I've got a spiritual self-defense course too
yeah,
online, but that's a big, yes, you've said all that. So you need to bring in some bigger guns of tools and strategies. So, and by the way, there's nothing wrong asking for help with this stuff. I mean,
no,
in my darkest days, I mean, the book that I just wrote, Battle of the Dark Side, my journey from teacher to exorcist, that's what that was about.
yeah,
And she works with millions of spirits. Don't let that intimidate you, because we can just knock that one off.
yeah.
Again, just shoot me an email, laura@thekarmicpath.com. Okay. And so when we're being heavily inundated and negatively influenced by something like that, calling in our angels, etc., it's like we're just shrouded with this darkness that this person has put upon us. They don't have spiritual jurisdictions, spells, curses, black magic, huge violation of spiritual law. People that partake in these types of things don't care they're violating spiritual law. It's no different than a criminal deciding that he's going to shoot you to take your car. Same concept. So, like I said, I don't want to dwell too much on that. I don't want to bring in too much attention to us tonight on this, but it's a big concern. I understand. I respect that, and reach out and I'll see what we can do. Okay.
Yeah. And again, remember, a lot of this feeds off the power you give it. All right.
It can. And sometimes it can be so hard and heavy and insane.
Absolutely. And this is where I would say Laura's probably going to take you through some type of cord cutting, things like that, because there's some reason that this attachment continues.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get specific when you talk to either myself, Laura, or both of us together. It doesn't matter. Okay. We'll figure it out.
It's hard to deal with. It's not for the faint of heart, and it can get ugly. And, I'm at the place where there's like, whatever.
Yeah, no, that is.
And in my process,
yeah, please reach out to Laura, reach out to myself. Our links are in the description below. Okay, or whatnot, different things we can do. And thank you. I'm at the end of my tether now. It's a battle for 7 years, ups and downs. She put her karma on me too. Now, she did not. That's not possible.
And this is it's a form of spell casting that this person is doing. And it probably transcends lifetimes also. I remember being tortured by a living person. With spell work, yes. And spells can be many different things. And there are just many different possibilities. I've dealt with like Middle Eastern to like Serbian. There's all kinds of stuff out there. They have the same basic tenets. But I was being tortured by a living person for a long time. I didn't know who she was in the beginning. And I got pushed by her energy so hard, I fell and I karate chopped my hand and broke it. It wasn't until I was sitting in an acupuncturist's office that it was revealed to me who this person was. And it was somebody who was related to my former business partner. And I had to figure it out. And I learned a lot. And I credit this person, this evil person who was casting spells on me, for what I know today.
Right.
She was one of my biggest teachers. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. I heard some cards going down.
Yeah. I'm kind of taking a look at the Lador thing. Like you said, I don't want to get too drawn in. All right. I'll throw this up real quick and just kind of go through what I had. But I was asking what's going on here with Lador. And Lador, again, focusing more on you without having knowledge of what type of black magic, how she's doing it, is, these different things. The page of Michael comes up. Michael is swords. So remember I said, You've got to focus with your head, your heart. And it's time for you to reach out and have you ask God, Spirit, your angels, say, cut this. Do the study on the things that you can do. Be smart about this. You know, we always hear people, don't make yourself a victim. And so what I'm telling you, Lador, is not out of, it might sound rough, but I don't mean it to be. It's from pure love, because I need everybody to be happy. All right. But you need to study and let wisdom come in. There is wisdom. There are things that are there trying to help you. The 2 of Ariel is talking about juggling between the spiritual and the physical world. Okay. So you are needing, there's some type of relationship that was formed in this physical world, all right, that's kept this thing going. Notice how we have, again, the page, fire. And I think this is important. I'm going to read this. Follow your passion. You are ready for any challenge, opportunities for excitement and adventure. This is a reminder that your fire, your passion, and with help, you can overpower anything here. And don't forget, you've got angels that all you have to do is say, I need your protection, and I want it right now. So that's a very quick, oversight. But yeah, there are things that can be done.
In battle for 7 years like that, it's tough, and you need somebody from the out in left field to kind of like knock it out.
Yeah, that's needing help, and there's nothing wrong with asking. And this is one of those things where it is sometimes we have let things become a habit because we don't know where to go. So
and you try so many things in my darkest days, and let me tell you, it was bad. I tried everything and nothing worked for 7 years. I learned a lot in that process, and I understand that because those entities will start putting these thoughts in your heads about suicide. And in my darkest days, I mean, I won't even get into how bad it was, and I'm trying everything, and I would get so mad and angry at God. I'm like, what the heck? Why are you doing this? And I realize now, in hindsight, that the light side let this happen so I could learn.
Right.
It sucked. I was so angry at God. I was so exhausted. If it was to the point where if I got 2 hours of consecutive sleep a night, that was a win. I had these entities come into my daughter's room, who was 6 years old at the time, and said, Mommy, Mommy. And she came running into my room. She said, Mommy, Mommy, the shadow men are in my room. And they said, they're going to steal my soul to break you. This is the stuff I was dealing with every single day for years. So, Lador, I get it. I'm blessed to be able to do what I do today. It's not an easy path. I could be a retired school teacher, taking vacations many times. Yeah. Sleep is a form of, it's a terrorist move, sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
And they know it. Yep.
Lador, where are you from? Or just what state, whatever, what country, whatever. But one of the things I want to remind everybody, and Lador, this, the stronger, if something dark, not just a person, but if something dark, if you feel there's another entity involved here, the more they're attacking you, the more they don't want you active because you have a gift you have not activated yet.
In the UK. All right. Very good.
Okay.
Yep. And thank you for that, Lador.
Thank you.
And I work with people all over the world. I love working with the Australians because I know tomorrow exists. It's already Sunday, or what is Sunday there right now. So yeah, my books do talk about all of that stuff. It's why I do what I do. I'm very passionate about it. Like I said, very blessed and fortunate. I get beaten up every now and then from time to time. Not going to lie. Yep. So
no, we get down.
Yeah.
I mean, when, again, kind of like what you said, when you deal with the stuff we deal with people, I remember being a police officer for right at 15 years and really dealing with some very heavy stuff. You get dark. You can get dark, and your humor becomes dark and things like that. And you got to, it was huge to pull out of it and to find that and be bathed back in light. And after a while, when we're working with people and we're helping people, we want to help, but we have to be very careful about not taking your problems home with us.
That's why I work remotely. I don't ever go into a physical space. And these beings know who I am. I've actually had clients who we hear that, oh, these dark ones have a school on me. They're trying to figure this out. It's like, whoa, okay. And what makes it's an incredibly lonely place to be when you're under that heavy of an assault.
Right.
It's incredibly lonely because you can't share it. You don't want to give it to somebody else either. Right.
Right.
And so it's really lonely. It's,
yeah.
And frankly, thank you, Tootie, but the books that I have on Amazon, those are the PG versions of what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've had people say, oh, I can't read this at night. I'm like, I know. So
yeah.
Anyways, thank you for that. And yeah, please do.
And I wanted to remind people, number one, I want to say, hey, Sean, good to see you. Sean G, glad you're here. Thank you. Bangarang, welcome. Glad you're back. But also, right in the links below, okay? I have series books. Laura's got a series book. They're right in the description. All you have to do, and most people, I don't think a lot of times know how to get to the description. When I say in the description, what somebody told me. When you're looking under the title, and sometimes there's a little word, it says more, click on that. It'll tell you more about what the show is. But right in there, it'll say, check out Laura's book. That's her newest one. All right. I have my books. One of the books that Donna was talking about is in there. More to come. My wife has manifesting, because manifesting is so misunderstood. There's so many things we're doing. I'm building more books. We're going to build courses, things like this. So yeah, a lot of that information is there. But I think the important thing, and thank you for pointing that out, Tootie, is don't be afraid to ask for help. And
and find somebody qualified too, because there's so many charlatans out there.
That's where I was headed.
Yep.
And you know what? Somebody can be qualified, but it doesn't mean they're any good at it. Okay. and it just doesn't mean they're connected. They may not even be a bad person or whatnot. All right. But you don't connect. I used to tell people in therapy all the time, if we're not connecting, if there's something just in our personalities that don't click, because I know it's hard to believe that I can be a little rough sometimes, go find another therapist. It's okay. I don't take that personal. Okay. You've got to find the person.
I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
No.
Yeah. DW, I have not, but I will look into that because I'm very curious. So thank you.
No, I have not either.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so there's a lot of things. So, and some of that you got to watch whenever you're watching some of these things with a grain of salt and say, okay, what do you believe? What's your gut telling you?
What I've learned is from books. And a lot of times what I've learned from books is what rang true for me or not.
Right.
But you got to ask the why. Why did this ring true for me? Why did it not ring true for me? Why? So yeah, right. Thank you. Yeah, awesome. Exactly.
All right. Well, folks, wow, what a night. We said we were going to keep it kind of short tonight, but that didn't happen. So, let's see what's going on. Rochelle, good to see you. Wow, Bangarang, glad y'all come in. Hey, guys, I am so glad you are here. Let me tell everybody, I'm going to do the reminder.
Yes, okay? Thank you.
All right. Monday night, I will be live again Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. Be doing free tarot readings, things like that, answering questions, doing whatever. Sometimes I bring up a topic that I feel Spirit has told me that we need to talk about. All right. Wednesday night, same thing. But this Thursday night, I have Hillis Pugh is back. Somebody was asking about Hillis coming back. I just spoke to Becky Gregory. She's going to be doing a show with me again. And then Miss Laura and I will not be able to be together. Laura's going to see her wonderful daughter.
I'm going out of town for a few days, and I'll be gone. So
right,
Thanksgiving Eve.
But Thanksgiving Eve, this is going to be another fun show. Okay, Laura's going to come join me on Thanksgiving Eve, and we want to do a gratitude show, a Thanksgiving show. Yes, we will talk about anything y'all want to talk about. We'll do readings or whatnot, but we want to give people an opportunity to just let's refocus a little bit of gratitude that evening. And that's going to be. So we're there, we're here, boom. You know how to get to Laura's stuff, the karmic path. It's in the links are in the description below. All right. It's all there. And we are so glad everybody was here. This was, man.
Thank you.
You and I have so much fun. You know, we have so much fun. Wow. Okay.
We should do the pre-show where we're talking about dumb stuff.
Yeah. And y'all need to know, we are talking about doing some in-person live things across the country. So let us know where you live. It's one of the reasons we ask for states and things, so we can say, hey, you know, I might feel like Laura and I, and I would bring my wife, you know. So
she likes to travel.
Questions asked. Okay. I may have been born at night, but it wasn't last night. You know, but hopping across the pond, hopping into Oregon, into Michigan, Alabama, different
I got
things.
a lot of Texans too, by the way. So we'll see.
So we got a lot of stuff we're kicking around, brewing up, and I just want y'all to be aware. So, you know, with all that being said, Deborah, thank you very much. I appreciate you so much. The Bangarang tribe, everybody welcome in. If you came in through Laura's site, you're still a member of our Bangarang tribe. We love you. All right. And so I think it's that time where we're going to say, Miss Laura, you got anything else?
I just want to thank everybody for spending time with us. We're all so busy. We have so many things that we could be doing. So thank you for spending time with us.
Absolutely. It's genuinely appreciated from the bottom of our heart.
Lador, I would love to work with you because I can tell you the pressure is immense. I get it.
Absolutely. It is massive. And it sometimes it feels like there's no end. So you're absolutely right. So yes, give Laura a call, you know, look up her stuff and find out what's going on. All right. And if you need me, I'm reachable too. So with all that being said, everybody take what you want, leave what you don't, but leave having experienced a little peace, love, and light. Bangarang.